everyone, Susan Choi here from the Food Institute here at CES 2024 in front of the Nuvilab booth. It is just such an amazing thing you guys have here. I have with me Hyunjong Lee of Nuvilab. Hyunjong, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. So to introduce a little bit about our company is what we do. We implement the 3D vision stereo sensors and artificial intelligence to infer the types and amount of food items being presented to the sensors. So we can start off with the food waste analysis on how much of what food is being wasted, so much as how much of what nutrition is being taken in by the particular person as well. So namely, we can operate in universities, colleges, daycare centers, long-term facilities, restaurants, hotels, resorts, cruises, so anywhere that deals with food.
Excellent. All right, well, let's check it out. Let's go and see.
Okay. So mainly we have three different hardwares that we have served in different functionalities. So this one's the food scanner basic. So what it does, it compares how much food is given by that particular person and then how much is eaten as well. So you can know how much what nutrition and the preference is being done by the particular person. So that would be happening in the dining hall. Then what happens in the kitchen is that we manage overproduction for kitchen managers. So always if the kitchen managers are expecting, let's say 100 people, then they need to prepare 120 servings, right? But then we help them measure the wiggle room and to minimize it so they can have a better profit margin. And then our air scanner air is the most basic and automatic model. So it's going to be installed, if you can see here, it's going to be installed in the conveyor belts. So it only scans the disposal area. So it's going to know how much of what food is not being preferred or consumed by the consumers. And then they would later know what to prepare less and what to prepare more.
One question I have, Premeal Scan. We have here you can scan before. So what would be the purpose of that before you eat?
Oh, so when it comes to the Premeal Scan and post-meal scan, it's going to be the simple subtraction, right? So it's always going to be about how much is given and how much is left, and then you can hence calculate back how much is eaten. You can scan the meal prior to your actual consumption, and then it would scan it. Me personally, I don't like salmon, so if I were to be a diner, I would leave this behind, right? And then it will scan this, and then it will understand that by this particular person, the salmon was not consumed, and then later that's going to be in the demand prediction for the actual consumers, and then the actual numbers and graphics I can show you over there. So this one would be a little demonstration on what happens in the disposal area. So the air model is gonna continuously record what food is being wasted. This one, a little bit a lot, but surprisingly in hospitals or hotels or resorts, they throw away a lot of food, and then a lot of food, like 51% would be thrown away untouched.
Wow.
So it would very much look like this. And then what it does is it has the depth sensor, so it would know the amount by calculating how much volume there is and then how much density we have in the food database. And then it would know the depth information of the food items. So this would be after the disposal, but what happens in the back, in the kitchen, is going to be a little bit different because, like I said, they have overproduction of food items and then they're thrown away untouched. And then what we do is we have two different sensors, right? So we got the depth sensor and then the RGB sensor. So what RGB sensor does is when it's presented, it's going to know what this is. So it's going to classify it as bread, and then once you throw away, the depth camera is going to capture how much volume there is, and then we can plug in the density information to know how much is being wasted.
How many would you recommend? How many of these scanners would you recommend a facility to have, let's say, a school?
So it's a trade-off between how many clients and diners we have, between how fast they want to operate. But then if we're talking about like 300 to 500 personnel diners, then one scanner would be sufficient enough. So at the end of the day, it's a simple calculation, plus minus multiplication, subtraction, right? Okay, so if you know how much is given versus how much is being left over, you can know how much is being eaten as well, right? You plug that information with the nutritional facts of the food items, then you can know how much of what nutrition is being taken in by the particular person. So this could have many different implementations. For example, for hospitals and long-term care facilities and daycare facilities, they would like to know what nutrition is being accounted for in terms of their intake, right? So we can give out that information in linkage with the electric meal order system of the hospitals or the facilities.
Wow, this is amazing. So, Hyunjong, the overall goal for Nuvilab in serving their customers, is it sustainability focused? Do you think it's more cost efficient focused? What do you think the bottom line, is?
We go ahead and not try to differentiate those two different things, because at the end of the day, the functionality that we give out is clarity. So you can know how much of what inefficiency is happening in whatever the kitchen or the food related environment that you are in, right? So if you want to save costs, you can save costs, but then that cost is gonna come from food, and then that food is, when employed inefficiently, is gonna be thrown away. So it's a carbon emission, right? So we're trying to minimize the inefficiency, I think, is the most accurate way to put it.
Very well said. All right, Hyunjong Lee, Global Marketing Manager for Nuvilab.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
And thank you.